I want to talk about the difference between how you think life is, how you've been raised to think of life, and how it really is. And I want to talk about forests. Okay, so we go like, okay, trees grow, and it's kind of a competitive process. The tallest tree gets the most light. There's a competition for resources and light in the forest. But there is a whole other thing going on. And one of the main things is that the tree actually doesn't grow through its root system as it's created from the air. And I'll tell you how. There was this 16th century scientist, and he planted a tree that weighed, a willow tree, I think, and it weighed 5 pounds. And he had 200 pounds of dry soil. So he watered this willow for 5 years. At the end of 5 years, the tree, which had started off as a 5-pound sapling, weighed 169 pounds. So it gained 164 pounds. But when he weighed the soil, he dried out the soil and it was weighed, 2 ounces had been lost. So this tree manifested out of the air, basically, you guys. The tree draws in carbon dioxide into its leaves, and it splits basically the carbon atom from the oxygen, and it uses the carbon to make cellulose fiber, and the whole, I won't go into the whole how it's done, but basically this carbon makes the wood and the trunk and everything. And it breathes out oxygen for us. Okay, this is very different than we think. The other thing that's different is there's, across all forests, there are basically 2 strands of fungi. And through this fungi, the trees communicate with each other and even share resources. This is really, really strong. So if trees who they've got enough water, they will send water through this fungi system to other trees that are lacking it, as well as nutrients. Trees in higher nutrient soil will send the excess. Yeah, it's lovely. It's just lovely. It's love, you guys. It is love in the physical. And it's even more. Do you know that the oldest trees are called the mother trees? And they are big communicational hubs. They will be communicating with hundreds of trees. And this is just so touching. They are particularly generous to their offspring. The children, the saplings that are the children of these mother trees, get an abundance of nutrients. They get the nutrients first, or the water first, before anybody else. Yeah. Remember, I've talked about how the whole universe is actually like the family in a way, that some of these principles just keep running through all aspects of our physical world. Yeah, and there it is. And of course, with the clear-cut logging, which trees are prized and get logged? The mother trees, these really huge ones. And this leaves the trees in the forest, the remaining ones, kind of orphaned. Yeah. And this is the cost of our, I want to say stupidity, willful stupidity, that we keep saying. The meaning of life is to have a monster house and be a billionaire and have a private jet, It's like, oh, okay. Yeah. So what we think is going on in the world is very different from what is actually happening.